Okay, guys, it's before the opening of the London market. I wanted to try to post before things got started there. Anyway, I'm the Elliott trader, and this work here is supplemental to the work that Max has been doing, which is really very good. And we'll talk more about that later. But I've been an Elliott trader for over 25 years, and been following the markets quite closely. So I wanted to, first of all, talk about some of the rules for wave formation. Here you can see on the screen the typical parallel Elliott trend channel, which is formed by three waves down, waves 1, 3, and 5 in the direction of the main trend, and two waves against the direction of the main trend. Those are waves 2 and 4. I've shown wave 4 as being alternating in shape, as the waves 2 and waves 4 will alternate depending on which one it is. In any event, I have some rules that I'm trying to prove out specifically because I believe there's either an Elliott theory that works or there isn't. And so the Elliott theory must work this way, and if it doesn't, I can't find a way for it to work. So the first specific rule that I have in forming a trend channel is that the trend channel is first drawn by drawing the line through the terminuses of waves 2 and 4. That's the heavier black line that you've seen here. And then once that line is determined, then drawing in the line parallel to that goes through at least two of the three terminuses on the other side of the trend channel. So it could be drawn between waves 1 and 3, waves 1 and 5, waves 3 and 5, waves 1 and 5, or as shown in this case, in all three waves. As we know, wave 3 must never be the shortest wave, and wave 4 must not retrace into the territory of wave 1 except in an ending diagonal, and we'll talk about that later. Now, after the fifth wave has occurred, then the correction will take place of this entire movement, and that corrective wave is labeled wave A. But I contend that in order to label that wave A, it must break the 2-4 trend line. If it doesn't break that trend line and stays inside the channel, then it cannot be labeled as wave A. After wave A has formed, wave B will retrace part of that price movement and come down very close to, or even touch in many cases, the extension of the wave 2 and wave 4 trend line in time. After wave B has occurred, then wave C will retrace somewhere into the area of the previous wave 4 movement. Now let's see how that has played out. In fact, in the S&P 500 in the US, and here you can see the Elliott parallel trend channel, first formed by looking for waves 2 and wave 4, and next by identifying the parallel trend channels within that trend channel. So here you see in the S&P 500 a wave 1, a wave 2, a wave 3, a wave 4, and a wave 5, with just a little bit of failure here on wave 5. Didn't come down below wave 3 exactly, but the reason I think it is wave 5 is that there's a symmetrical gap in wave 2 and wave 4. Then you have the rise up to parenthesis letter A, the drop down to B, and then the final rise up to parenthesis wave 2. Now, most people in the U.S. are actually calling this the top of the market and the start of the Elliott wave cycle, and most people on different websites are identifying this as the start of the bear market. I don't think so, and I'll show you some specific evidence as to why later. However, this wave is a well-formed 5-wave movement, waves 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 down to parenthesis 3 waves, and then the A wave to parenthesis 3 does break the upper trend channel, as you see, followed by wave B, C, X, A, B, and C, up to 4, all forming a very nice triangle, which quite honestly had a number of people scratching their heads trying to figure out exactly what that movement was. Then you see that we have the movement up to wave 4, followed by another parallel trend channel with waves 1 up to 2, down to 3, the corrective movement A, B, and C forming a wave 4, and then finally the drop down to the fifth wave low with a very quick reversal. One item to note is that the wave 5 terminus breaks the lower boundary of the trend channel to the same amount as the small letter 3 did, and that seems to be fairly symmetrical as well. Now, what about this movement up here? You know, this is the absolute price high. Why isn't that the start of the Elliott wave movement? Well, if you have a look on the daily chart, you can see that on the daily chart that also forms a very nice parallel trend channel, and you'll notice that actually this entire movement took out 4 of the previous close to open gaps that existed in the S&P 500. As a matter of fact, this final wave 5 down came down to close this circled gap that you see here, with the prices shown in the box here. It did fill the gap. You can have a look at those prices and make sure that it did. And from the uptrend movement, even just as far back as August, there are still 2 more close to open gaps to fill. Okay, let's have another look at why we don't think that nominal price high was the start of the Elliott wave movement. Here's the nominal price high, and then there are 2 highs before it. Actually, in terms of points, this point was at 1149. This one was at 1151. And, you know, quite honestly, those could be nothing more than calculation errors or differences in calculations on the different days when the computers calculated the averages of the over 500 stocks. So if they were made at different time, or the computers, you know, had a different delay in calculating the averages, they could have very well been reflecting that this was actually the price high. But more importantly, just a simple stochastic study is showing that the market momentum did peak on January the 11th, just as it did in the FTSE 100, and the momentum itself was lower on each of those subsequent peaks, pointing to January 11th as the high, the same as the London markets. Now, I'm thinking that there's really only a couple of reasons why that could happen. One would be the calculation error, and secondly, the other one would be outright market manipulation, which I'm not ruling out. So on the weekly chart, as you can see, the black weekly trend line, which was touched 3 different times, actually has now provided support for the bottom of our bracketed wave 1, the wave 5 terminus here, and now we should experience upward movement, perhaps as high as the dotted red trend line. Okay, guys, that's it for this session. I don't want to go over 10 minutes here, and I do want to again thank Max for his fine work. I'm not sure if all of you recognize just how much hard work he does put into these video presentations, and again, I just wanted to supplement his information. So thanks very much, and we'll have another post shortly. If you get a few minutes, visit my website at studyofcycles.com. Thanks. Bye.